exam for Pokemon measuring. So today we're going to learn how to do the actual measuring, now that you're officially allowed to start learning about this. So let's get right into it, okay? The way you do it, obviously you have to begin by introducing yourself. So in my case, I would say, hello, my name is Mes U, but you can just call me Mes. And then you have to say our company name. And ideally, if you say our slogan, that's pretty good too. So you would say, welcome to Piplup's Precision Place. We have tiny flippers, but perfect measurements. Nice and easy, right? Just remember that little slogan and you're all set. Now, obviously, you're going to start with very small and very peaceful Pokemon, okay? So don't stress. But for this example, I'm going to use our very own Piplup, the owner's Piplup that is always here. We already have all of its measurements, but we might as well use him for this little example, okay? So, obviously this is a very large Piplup. I know it's very big even for a Piplup, but it's okay. We're going to measure him so you can learn how to do it, how to take measurements, how to write them down on the system, everything, okay? So Piplup, I'm going to flip you right over here. I know he's very big, but it's okay. Okay, so you need to grab your handy dandy measuring, and obviously it depends on the Pokemon, right? For example, with Piplup, I like to begin from the top and move down. So I would begin with its face. I would begin, for example, with its beak, its eyes, maybe the little line here, make sure everything's in proportion around its head, obviously very important as well. Then I would move down to its collar, its arms, the two little dots, and then just further down, its feet, its cape, all the good stuff. If there's anything specific that needs to be measured, it should be on the list. It should be. You should know. Don't worry. And if there's anything that you're unsure if you should measure it or not, I think for safety, just measure it. If we need it, perfect. If we don't need it, hey, at least we got it measured, okay? So, let's begin. So I would say, welcome to Piplup's Precision Place. We have tiny flippers, but perfect measurements. My name is Mes U, but you can just call me Mes. So, I see that you've brought your, in this case, Piplup to get measured, so I think let's get right into it. I would also recommend trying to get along with the Pokemon. Obviously, when you start, you're going to get very calm Pokemon, but there is a chance that the Pokemon are very active or very not aggressive, but they don't like getting measured, they don't like being touched, So, you have to make sure that the Pokemon is comfortable and that the Pokemon is happy with you, okay? Obviously, I already know Piplup. This is the owner's Piplup. I've known him for years now. So, let's get right into it. I would start by measuring its beak. And it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect from here to here. As you can see, 10. Very good. And then you would have to write it on the system where it says beak. You put 10 for the beak. Obviously, the unit is already fine. We just need to put 10 in this case, okay? And we just go from there, The beak on the top, like the vertical version of the beak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. Remember, very important to put decimals, okay? The first decimal, very important. After that, depending on the Pokemon. But for this example, we're not going to go into very accurate decimals because we're just going to be wasting our time here. But you know the gist, you passed your theory exam, so you should be fine with this. Okay, very good. Then I would move on to its eyes. 1, 2, 3, and then up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0.6. And obviously, after every measurement, write it down. Write it down. I like to do 2 or 3 measurements and then write all the numbers down. But if you're starting off, I would really recommend after every measurement, write it down. Just write it down. You don't want to forget a number. easy job, especially once you've already worked on the theory, you've worked so far, you know, you're practically there. I'm sure there's nothing to worry about. It's just, we don't want to make any mistakes, because then customers will get angry, and oh god, we had someone come in with a Purugly, oh my god, and someone measured the little tail wrong, and their trainer, they were a little bit, I wouldn't say angry, but they were a bit scared. They're like, why is my Purugly's tail so weirdly measured in comparison to all other Puruglys, you know? And that's because, you know, I had to go check again, and I measured it, and yeah, one of our interns must have measured the tail wrong, you know, but it is what it is. It happens to the best of us, you know? Anyways, let's move on. Now, the little line here, little sort of crown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.1. 12.1. Very good. Let's move on to the next. I would do a lot more measurements, but because we're just teaching you here, you know, we're just gonna do it very quickly. And obviously, as always, you write it down. Now, let's skip the face. Let's go on to its body. I know this Piplup's really, really large. Okay, this Piplup's measurements would actually be larger than the average Piplup, but that's fine. So the collar, I like to go at the longest possible point. And we see here it is 5.67, something like that. And yeah, as always, you write it down. Very good. And you would measure both sides, but for now we're not going to do both sides, okay? We're going to do just one, otherwise we're going to be here for way too long. So, we're going to measure here as well. This gives us around 10. Again, you can check properly, okay? Don't worry, I'm just kind of showing you. The arms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Piplup. Piplup, my guy, have you gone even bigger? Your arms are 11. We might have to measure you again soon properly, yeah? I think you're growing even more. It's incredible. You might be the biggest Piplup out there. Yeah, Piplups are usually quite a lot smaller than this one though. Anyways. Now, the little... I'm definitely going to need to measure him properly again. But yeah, this one is 1, 2, 3, 4.7. 4.7. Good. Good number, 4.7. And onto its little, I say little legs, but look at the size of them. Look at the size of them. They are almost 9 centimeters in length, which is very big for a Piplup foot. Look at the size of that. And obviously we'd have to look at its still sort of tail on its cape and all that stuff. But yeah, that's the gist of it. That's how the measuring clinic sort of works, you know. Is there any other questions you have? Is there any other questions you might have about the measuring position? Anything you might have to do? Obviously, I'm going to be there to make sure that you do everything fine the first couple of sessions. Until I see that you get comfortable, you know, maybe if someone brings in a Pokemon that is, you know, easy to measure, a Pokemon that does not get agitated easily, a Pokemon that is, you know, a relatively easy Pokemon to measure, not too big, kind of, yeah, that sort. I think you'll do it. I'll be watching. And if you're doing good, I think you can start doing it by yourself, especially with the easier Pokemons. Obviously, we're not going to throw an Onix at you straight away. Onixes and really large Pokemon like that are special cases, and they are cases for professionals, such as myself. You will stick to for now. Yeah, you will stick to stuff like Rattatas, Caterpie. I think we have a Pidgey coming in next week, so I think that could be a great start for you. Let me know what you think, okay? So, let's quickly do a bunch of measurements. I also like to just do a bunch of precautionary measurements, like we go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you're like, what was that measurement for? I'm an expert. I know these are very specific measurements. They don't show up on the computer, but I know them very well. Anyways, do you have any other questions? What happens with Pokemon that can't be measured? So do you mean, for example, if someone brings in a Ghastly? Yeah, I know Ghastlies are tough to deal with as well, because obviously they are made out of gas. What? How do you measure that, you know? And like the sort of gas around them is always switching. Well, we can work on that. ghastly. For example, we can measure their eyes. We can measure the little sort of circle ball that they are, and the gas outside it. We don't have to worry about that. The gas outside it is relative to the ball itself. So we just measure its eyes, its mouth, the little, its ball body, I guess that's how to call it. And the gas itself, we don't have to worry about that. You'll notice that that is not on the system. But again, don't worry. You're not going to get a ghastly, at least not right now. So let's not worry about that. What we have to worry about is learning how to measure easier Pokemon. As I said, I think you're going to do a Pidgey starting off next week. So for Pidgey, you would have to do its beak, eyes, probably shape, its wings, obviously Piplup, these are flippers, but you know, Pidgey has wings. It's like feet, it's little claws you have to do as well. Obviously, because it has claws, you have to measure each individual claw, you know. What else? It's like torso you'd have to do. But yeah, that's nice and simple. I'm gonna be there to walk you through it. Don't worry at all, okay? Do you have any other questions? What is the toughest Pokemon that I've had to deal with? I'm not sure. I've had to measure a bunch of weird Pokemon. As I said, Onix is pretty tough. You need a lot of ladders to measure him. And I'm not gonna lie, this thing does not cut it for an Onix. You know, you need a way, way bigger measuring tape than that. I've had to measure Pokemon like Cacturns, you know, they're pretty spiky. Yeah, it's not great. Had a lot of injuries in my fingers because of that. I've had to measure a bunch of, but ghosts are always tough because they're, sometimes you can't really touch them, you know, because they're ghosts. And other times they like to play pranks. And yeah, I had a Gengar come in once, and every time I kept looking at it, its eyes kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and I'm like, what is going on? What is your real eyesight, Gengar? Please stop playing tricks on me. Like, but yeah, that's just some examples. Yeah, I know even in just the world of measuring, Pokemon are such fascinating creatures, you know. They're all a whole different world. It's not like, oh, you get to measure a suit, you have to measure like a whole being, you know, and every being is different. Anyways, I will see you here on Monday for your first measuring. I will let the Pidgey trainer know that we're gonna have someone new to it, but I'm gonna be making sure that everything is fine. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you've learned everything. Please revise your content. Practice a bit of measuring. I don't know if you have any Pokédolls, but do that. And I'll see you on Monday. And Piplup is super happy that you're starting too, aren't you, Piplup? Alright, Piplup, I'm gonna put you away for now, okay? Anyways, thank you so much for coming. I'll see you on Monday, and I hope to work really nicely with you too. Bye bye.